Hello, this is Scott Martin. Welcome to my home. This video is about something I just refer to as the cloud. This I consider to be a vision, genuinely. Background: my partner and I had moved to Seattle from Central Oregon coast, Newport, Oregon, and had sold most everything we had and brought what we needed, and we came with neither a place to live and no jobs either. We were trusting our faith that the universe would meet us and provide for us, and we eventually did find a nice apartment to rent. It was a condominium on the edge of Capitol Hill, quite a nice place, but it was a long time trying to find work for both of us. And I'll have to admit, we both became rather impatient and maybe a little bit desperate too. Our faith was getting thin, and I know we both prayed about it, but one day, while I was feeling exasperated, I was working out on my Soloflex, which we had in our bedroom, and as I was just beginning presses, the room just disintegrated around me, faded completely away, and I found myself suspended, literally suspended inside of what seemed like a cloud. Nothing I'd ever experienced before. The closest would have been flying through on an airliner, but here I was, just me. And it was nearly dark. But I wasn't frightened. I found that curious. I was very, very highly conscious. This was not a dream. And I looked around me to try to analyze things. I felt safe. That was interesting to me. I didn't feel vulnerable at all. I was aware I was suspended. I was sort of free floating, but I wasn't falling. Almost like being cradled in some strange sort of way. And then I began to sense just a slight bit of moisture on my face, as you might in a cloud or a heavy fog. And the temperature was pleasant. I wasn't cold, I wasn't too hot. I thought to myself, well, I'm all right. Wherever I am, I'm all right. So no fear again. And I had the sense that I needed to wait, just to wait on whatever this was. It would be shown to me at the right time. And as I looked around me, I began to sense movement in the cloud. Just barely discernible movement. As the cloud grew just ever so slightly lighter, so that I could see some sort of movement. I thought, well, this is curious. And as I looked in the distance, I thought I detected just glimmers of pale pastel colors here and there. No specific spots, just sort of everywhere. It sort of danced around. And the more I concentrated, the more vivid the colors became. I thought, well, this is really, really curious. I thought, should I feel frightened? I don't. I still felt safe. So I concentrated on the colors. And as I looked at them, the colors became brighter and brighter until they were primaries in every other color of the rainbow, more colors than we see in the rainbow. Every color of the spectrum that was visible. and it was moving around. All the colors were moving like a great kaleidoscope. And I had the sense that, for whatever reason, this feels alive to me. Why would that be? Does any of this make any sense? No, of course not. Most of those experiences don't. But I needed to observe everything I could. So I watched the colors sort of move and flow and dance around. And then I became aware of a faint, slight breeze just barely brushing my face. It was pleasant sense. The temperature was very pleasant. And again, I had the sense that this is something living. I don't understand, but it's something living. And the movement became a little stronger, not threatening, but just more alive, as the colors seemed to be very much a part of the movement of this breeze. And I finally decided to myself, if you have a spiritual experience, as I was taught, very important to ask the name of the Spirit. So I thought, well, so I spoke to it. I said, will you please tell me your name? I thought, well, that was a gutsy move. And I waited. And the breeze or wind sort of picked up on my left side. And it whispered in my ear, Noema. Noema. And then I was back, sitting on my Soliflex, trying to puzzle out what had just happened. How did I get to wherever I was? And where was I? Inside some cloud? I thought, Noema, or it was Pneuma, pardon me, Pneuma. It can be pronounced Noema. One's Greek and one's Latin, but the wind said Pneuma. So I got out a dictionary. I thought, I'll look this up. I was guessing at the spelling. So I thought of pneumo like, well anyway, Pneuma. Pneuma. And I found it. And it said ancient Greek or biblical references. It meant breath, or the Spirit of God, or the Holy Spirit. And I thought, oh my God. I couldn't believe what I'd witnessed. And that it had identified itself to me and spoken to me. And it gave me exactly what I needed, to know that I was not alone. I was being held, being cared for. I was safe. And I had the sense that I would be provided for and that I needed to let go of the worry. And that was a powerful, powerful experience. And it's never gone away from me. I've never forgotten. But I've shared it with a few along the way. It's pretty difficult to describe the Holy Spirit or spirit or breath. But as I think back to the Old Testament, the Spirit breathed over the waters. Anyway, there it is. And now I have found sometimes when I'm doing my healing work that I do, usually Reiki or therapeutic touch, that occasionally in areas where I'm working on the person that need specific strong healing, I find myself almost gasping for breath and then exhaling very intentionally 3 times in a row until my lungs are exhausted. And I remembered breath, Spirit, Holy Spirit. Those are powerful. And it meant even more to me then. It made even more sense. Well, that's probably enough for imagination for the moment. But I thank you for being with me, and I will have more. I welcome questions. I don't always have the answers, but I have the experience. And I'm not afraid to talk about these. I wasn't afraid to be in them, and if there was fear to be had, it would have been there. So thank you very much for joining me. Good day. Pretty short. Well, let's see if that one went before we do anything else.